In fundraising, Harris has a 2-to-1 edge over Trump, outspending him in 12 of the last 13 weeks.
Fox's William Lajeunesse. Nationally, the race remains nearly a dead heat in recent polls, while former President Trump leads the Real Clear Politics average in 6 of 7 battleground states, also by very tight margins. Both Harris and Trump campaign in Pennsylvania today. Over the weekend, a man was arrested with guns at a checkpoint outside a Trump rally in California.
The Riverside County Sheriff in California, Chad Bianco, he says 49-year-old suspect, Vem Miller, they looked inside of his car and they found an illegal loaded handgun and shotgun, a high-capacity magazine, multiple passports and driver's licenses in various names. His license plate was also fake. Miller was arrested on state misdemeanor weapons charges and then released. Now, the Secret Service says Miller never got to their security perimeter, and the former president was not in danger. The feds are not calling it a third assassination attempt, but the investigation is ongoing.
Fox's Brian Yanis. The suspect tells Fox News Digital he's a Trump supporter and has never fired a gun. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs facing a new wave of lawsuits, at least 6 filed today by 2 women and 4 men over allegations of sexual misconduct. Combs remains in jail, facing federal charges of sex trafficking and other counts, which he denies. One of the new accusers says the hip-hop star molested him when he was 16, the first allegation involving a child. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's been a quick process. Mostly cloudy skies, 58 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess for Moss Roofing. Here's what's trending at 3:02. The jury intended to serve in the state of Indiana versus Richard Allen has entered the double digits. The court needs 12 jurors and 4 alternates to get the ball rolling. Allen's charged with the 2017 murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. The state says it plans to use Allen's apparent confessions and a bullet to pin him as the man. The defense plans to question the credibility of those confessions. You might want to grab a thick coat this week.
We're going to have some colder, low temperatures arriving even as the week goes on.
You may have to put up with some frost, says forecaster Jason Puma. Keeping kids safe on the internet was part of the state attorney general debate Sunday.
Current Republican AG Todd Rokita and his Democratic challenger Destiny Wells debated on Fox 59 how they would or are handling social media apps like TikTok. Rokita is currently suing the Chinese-owned app.
Get rid of TikTok. They're data mining you if you're an adult, and they're corrupting your kids.
Wells says she'd re-evaluate the lawsuit.
My priority would actually be to do it in the court of Indiana and put it in front of a Hoosier jury.
We're in 2 courts in Indiana.
Wells also criticizing Rokita for using attorneys from outside Indiana in the lawsuit. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana gas up 12 cents from last week, says AAA. It was an honor he never thought he would receive. Ryan Hedrick reports on the Hall of Fame induction of the owner of the Indiana Pacers.
Herb Simon shared how basketball has brought him joy, not because of all the on-court success, but because it's brought his family together.
We all cheer the team together. We celebrate when they win, and while we're not happy when they lose, we are always together. They have been able to participate in this journey, and that makes it a very special thing.
Mr. Simon said without the love and support of his late brother Mel, he would have never achieved the success he has. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
News time 3:04, traffic and weather up next.
It's starting to be fall in Indiana, the perfect time to tackle home projects you've been putting off before winter arrives. With Moss Roofing by your side, you don't have to do it alone. They're ready to assist with your roofing and siding needs, ensuring your home is safe and ready for the holidays. Let Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, give your home a serious glow-up with premium James Hardy siding, tough enough to face Indiana's wild weather and stylish enough to turn heads on your block. And the best part, their free inspections come with a 3D design preview so you can see your home's stunning makeover before the work begins. Contact Moss Roofing for a job done right every single time at Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. That's 747-3665. Or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com. And don't forget, tell them Tony Katz sent you.
With traffic on the 5s at 305, good afternoon, Matt Bear.
Good afternoon, Donnie. Problems in Johnson County. We have a ramp closure with I-65. This is northbound 65 to Worsville Road, and the entrance ramp is shut down. Again, if you're traveling on Worsville Road, you will not be able to enter northbound 65 entrance ramp. Shut down because of a rolled semi. Now, going the other direction, southbound 65 is stop and go before Main Street Greenwood, exit 99, for about a mile and a half. That's because of the left lane being closed on southbound 65 while crews assist with that northbound crash. Traffic sponsored by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half's recruiting professionals utilize their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast, brought to you by the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For today, mostly cloudy skies holding in place through the afternoon. Can't rule out a spotty shower, especially north this evening. High temperatures in the upper 50s, tonight in the lower 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show up next. I'm Donnie Burgess, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Good afternoon, Indianapolis. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt. Cast of Merritt in the morning with you for one more day. Jim, what do you think? You ready?
I think good.
All right.
I think good.
All right.
Thank you, WIBC, for having Merritt in the morning for the last 3 days.
Well, it's been fun. Jim, before we get going, I have one mea culpa. I forgot to acknowledge our Beer Sample Friday sponsor, Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Thank you very much for sponsoring Beer Sample Friday. Would you like to introduce our next guest for us? So, I'm not sure that we're ready for our next guest. Jim,
yes,
you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, let's talk with us, and we might have to get back to our next guest here in a minute. So, hey, there we go. I'm back. All right. Allison is our next guest ready. Okay. Sorry about the problem there. We are talking to Brown County Councilman Scott Rudd. Scott, are you with us?
I am, Jim. Thanks for having me.
All right. I'm Brad. We are having some technical difficulties, so I'll head and go. I'll get us started here, and Jim will come in. So Jim was telling me that Brown County has a severe mental health crisis going on down there. What all is happening in Brown County, and how are you trying to tackle it?
Well, I met Jim several years ago when he was chairing the utility committee and focusing on broadband. And at the time, Brown County had a very poor ranking of 83rd in the state for broadband access in our rural county. And here we sit today, and we've knocked it out of the park thanks to Jim and his efforts and the state to help us fund that issue. But today, we're sitting here as the worst ranked state for our suicide rates, shockingly. And I'm glad that Jim is raising awareness to this, and our community is ready to kind of pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and engage in this community-wide effort. So appreciate you having me on.
Scott, it's Jim Merritt. Thank you very much for coming on this afternoon. I appreciate you raising this issue to all of us. And when you talked to me originally, you said the Brown County Council alarm went off, and tell our audience how all this has happened, and we're just coming out of Suicide Prevention Month in September. What is actually going on in Brown County?
Sure. Well, that's a great question, and it's something I think that we're not alone on this issue as a rural community, small community. I think most communities are struggling with this. And basically, I got a call, a small handful of weeks ago from a teacher, actually a message saying that a 10-year-old girl in one of my son's classes had threatened self-harm. And, it's like one of the worst calls or messages that you want to see as a parent. And,
absolutely.
And really caught my attention. And so since that time, through some education and some community listening sessions, we've learned that we are, actually last in the state, 92nd out of 92 counties, and in our suicide rate, we're 75th in our overdose rate. So we've got a problem here, and much like broadband, Jim, back many years ago when we were first tackling that, it's going to take a community-wide effort, I feel, to address this. And so our council's been talking about how we can play a larger role. Quite frankly, local government across the state doesn't seem to be engaging on this issue. And I think it's because there's this feeling, much like broadband, of this overwhelming problem that we don't know where to start, right? And in having conversations locally with our school superintendent and our Centerstone mental health provider and many others, we've learned there are many efforts underway, but as we know, it's still not enough. And so we are seeking ways to try to tackle this as a community with faith-based leaders and education leaders and our local government to try to chart a course forward.
So, Scott, let me ask, have you guys identified what some of the causes are? I mean, Brown County is not a real populous county, and for you to lead the state, even if it's just a high suicide rate, I mean, that touches everybody in the county when that happens.
It does, and I don't think there's a person in this county that hasn't been affected, and it all relates to mental health, right? And, I don't bring up broadband just because it's an unrelated issue. We've seen with the proliferation of broadband access across the state that this new space, this digital space, is very much related to mental health in youth and adults, and it causes anxiety, depression, isolation. And so we've got a lot to learn about how we can, what I would call, improve our digital hygiene or digital literacy when children are spending hours and adults and parents are spending hours on the screen seeing sensational stories, and it's causing some of these mental health issues that we've got to address. And so we've got some ideas on how we may be able to address that. Happy to talk about those as well.
Well, you've come to the right place. You and I are going to talk on Thursday. I'm going to help you put a plan together on this. This is an issue that is harassing every human being in the state of Indiana. And that broadband, and I've always known you as being such a expert in broadband and helping Brown County come to the fore, because if you're going to have online learning, you've got to have broadband in rural counties like Brown County. And what is there an interest in the schools in law enforcement to tackle this issue? When you and I have talked, you really didn't know what door to go knock on, and we're going to get that door knocked on in spades. But have you had a meeting since you and I chatted? Are people starting to get a little more confident that we can help this situation in Brown County?
Confident may be a little bit of a stretch at this point as we kind of start to engage on the issue. But I will tell you, our justice system, from the judge to the prosecutor to the sheriff, we've all talked. They came to the council at our request and spoke to us about some of these dire situations and immediate needs that are going unaddressed. And we have what appears to be quite a groundswell of support from all the right players and partners. The question is, and I know this question is across the state in local governments, particularly rural governments, we need help on determining how we can help as a community. And like broadband, we were in the same boat back then, Jim. You remember?
Oh yeah,
we were overwhelmed. We didn't know what to do. We were never responsible as local government, nor was the state responsible for solving that issue. And it feels a lot like that situation now today, just with mental health. And so we're actually looking, interestingly, our tourism economy is booming in Brown County. We have had just massive improvements and wins come about. And so we're seeing this swell in activity in the tourism space, and it's impacting our workforce, right? We need a stronger and larger tourism workforce. Well, we have something called the innkeeper's tax, which when a tourist stays overnight, it provides 5%. There's a 5% tax that goes into a fund to help our tourism economy. Well, what if we could increase that tax by 1% on a visitor to our county and help fund our not just mental health needs, but our justice system needs, which are very directly related.
All right. We've been talking to Scott Rudd, Brown County Councilman, about some mental health issues and how to get better. Scott, thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Take care.
You're quite welcome. Now let's take look at the roads with Matt Baer.
Johnson County, the ramp, the entrance from northbound, this is Worsville Road to northbound 65. That is shut down because of a rolled semi. Also, if you're coming southbound 65 in a separate incident at Worsville Road, the left lane is closed. Police are on scene helping somebody out, and traffic is stopping. Go back to County Line Road, 25-minute delay. Traffic sponsored by Norton 360, October Cybersecurity Awareness Month. While multi-factor authentication is another step to stay cyber safe, Norton 360 is the protection you need year-round. Get up to 58% off at norton.com/secure. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
58 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-735-0911. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-735-0911. 800-735-0911. That's 800-735-0911.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep. Go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through October 20th, get fast, reliable 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract with free Wi-Fi equipment included. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with Xfinity Mobile. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Need a new work truck? Need a new fleet vehicle? Andy Moore Ford has got you covered. Over 800 new vehicles available on the lot, including the Super Duty trucks available starting only at $43,995. You've got F-150s, transit vans, the custom work vehicles for any industry, all built Ford tough, and Rangers with that all-new body style from only $36,995. And of course, you want the cool, fun stuff. They've got the Broncos, the Bronco Sports. I'm driving a Bronco. I own a Bronco Sport. And interest rates as low as 0% APR available on new Andy Moore Fords. And when you need service, Andy Moore Ford will come to you. Just schedule it online at andymoreford.com. They'll come pick up the vehicle, service it, and bring it back to you as good as new. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Visit them on Main Street. Tell them Tony Cat sent you, or find them online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
andymoreford.com.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health.
From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Welcome back to the Hammer and Nigel Show with 100% less Hammer and Nigel. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt. We combined are the Merritt in the Morning podcast. We're on these airwaves fairly often.
Yes.
Jim, we have a special guest, Democratic candidate for Indiana governor, Dr. Jennifer McCormick joins us on the Merritt in the Morning hotline. Dr. McCormick, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. Welcome to the show. It occurred to me, you and I were at Purdue at about the same time.
Okay. Well, what were you studying?
Several different things, mostly things that were not academic, which is how I ended up doing radio and running a chamber of commerce.
There you go.
So, no, actually, I have high hopes that our Boilermaker football team will get better.
Well, I have a high hope they'll win one this year.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, last Saturday gave us a little bit of hope. So let's get after it. You were running for governor this year. Why would you put yourself through this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I spent 4 years as the last elected state superintendent of public instruction and learned a lot. And there are some things that Indiana is doing very, very well that we can build off of. And there are other things we need some work. And so for me, it's just about Indiana deserves better than what we have right now. And, just trying to be a public servant and do my part.
So now a question I had that I wanted to run by you. You were being painted as wanting to ban all gas appliances. Could you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, you'd have to ask my opponent since it's made up. So, there was a commercial that came out that had a lot of artificial intelligence with and, broke the law. And our opponent and his running mate had on that I was obviously against gas stoves, and a lot of people in the picture were as well. And I really don't care what kind of stove someone uses. I have been busy on the road and haven't used a stove in 18 months, so I could care less. But, it goes back to we have to elect people that we can trust. And clearly he has shown us who he is, and we can't trust him.
It's Jim Merritt. Welcome to the show. We're curious about, the supermajority. Should you win in, 3 weeks, how will you work with that supermajority? It's got to be it's going to be interesting because governors have difficult time working with the supermajority. Dr. McCormick, how do you plan to do that?
Well, one of the benefits of having Terry Gooden as a lieutenant governor will be, he served in the House for 2 decades, and he has a relationship with many of those people and was known to serve to work across that aisle. So I think that will be helpful. He also can run the Senate day one, which, again, is incredibly helpful. But we will obviously extend that olive branch. When I was state superintendent, when I got into office, we worked with both sides of the aisle as far as, language for bills, different ways to improve those bills, and when those bills needed some tweaking and giving them some fiscal information. And so we did that when we were in for state superintendency, and I know how difficult that state house can be, even like, as you mentioned, even for the same party. But there again goes back to good government is balance, and good government is common sense. And if you get elected as someone who's representing the people, you should be willing to work across that aisle. So we're going to get, we will do that. We will operate in that manner. And a lot of that, too, is who we hire, making sure we are hiring the best of the best, regardless of political affiliation.
So we're talking to Dr. Jennifer McCormick. She's a Democratic candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. Dr. McCormick, as much as I hate talking about this issue and I hate even addressing the issue, it's been kind of a cornerstone of the campaign, and it's been out front in some of your ads, and you just came out with a new plan last week. If you could explain to our audience where you stand on abortion and where you want to see Indiana be if you're elected.
It's such a conversation across the state of Indiana, and it's bipartisan. When I have my events and things, there are a lot of Republicans that are showing up, independents and Democrats, and many Hoosiers, if not most that I've talked to, and the polls show at least 60% agree that women should have the autonomy to make choices. I trust women. I trust our health.
Dr. McCormick? I think we have lost Dr. McCormick. So
I think it's important that we ask her the question on, in that Indiana Capital Chronicle article that we were referring to, she talked about the different appointments that she would make to the different commissions. But I think it's important that we understand the idea of is she for partial birth abortion, or is it 15 weeks? I think that our listening audience needs to know and wants to know exactly what she supports in that regard.
Yeah. So, like I say, that is an issue that I hate talking about because it's a very personal issue, and it's very personal, and people are very passionate on it on all sides. And we have Dr. McCormick back. Dr. McCormick, welcome back.
Sorry, we are on the road, so I apologize.
That's okay. I have run statewide before, and I know how that is. You get in hills and hollers, and the next thing you know, you've dropped.
Right.
Yes, and we are in the southern part of the state. But
yes, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes with us, Dr. McCormick. I think one of the issues, one of the subjects that ever is on the mind if you're thinking about life issues is do you have a determination of are you for partial birth abortion? Are you for 15 weeks? I think our listening audience would love to know exactly where you are on that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, the standards were clear in Roe, and Roe stood for 50 years. And the Hoosiers are with me on this. 60% of the Hoosiers that I talk to across the political aisle support women having that autonomy to make the decision. I've been pregnant. I've given birth. I've also had a lot of family and friends that have been pregnant and given birth. And unfortunately, sometimes those pregnancies have complications, and wanted pregnancies have complications. And so it's a matter of making sure that women have the autonomy to make those decisions. And there is no perfect timeline. If something happens at 20 weeks, if something happens at 24 weeks, but Roe was pretty clear on, those standards that were set. And again, it stood for 50 years. Is it perfect? No. But where we're at now is extremely, it's just extreme. In 10 weeks, having been pregnant, a lot of people don't even know they're pregnant. And so, I listen to Hoosiers. I hear the 60+% of Hoosiers that say, why are we not trusting women? And I just, make sure that they realize I do trust women. I do trust our healthcare providers. And that means giving us some options when.
So, Dr. McCormick, I think we've lost you once again. Thank you very much for your time. I know that she has another event coming up at 3:30. So I know that these are not always the friendliest airwaves to her, and I appreciate her coming on with us.
This is a very important issue.
It is an important issue, and I'm glad that we were able to get into it just a little bit. So thank you, Dr. McCormick, for joining us. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show with Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
If you have a well, you simply have to have regular preventative maintenance, or you're going to have a no water event at some point. For a limited time, C&J is offering a 6-point inspection for only $845, and that's a full 15% discount for a flow evaluation, switch analysis, pump amps test, pressure tank check, leak inspection, and a bacteria sampling. Clean out before you chill out. Just call C&J. Great systems and great people too. 317-852-WELL. That's 317-852-WELL.
Eligible Hoosiers, listen up. Election Day is November 5th. This is a reminder from the Indiana Secretary of State. Make a plan to get to the polls and vote. Indiana's elections are safe, secure, and transparent. Go to indianavoters.com to find polling locations, volunteer to work at the polls, and more information for Election Day. Make your vote count this Election Day, November 5th. This message is brought to you by your Indiana Secretary of State.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're not slowing down anytime soon. You've got 58 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 3:31. The jury selection process in the Delphi murders case is still taking place right now in Allen County, although it's moving faster than expected. 11 jurors have been selected so far, 7 women and 4 men. You may have heard about a man with guns arrested outside of a Trump rally in California over the weekend. Well, he's out on bail.
The Riverside County Sheriff in California, Chad Bianco, he says 49-year-old suspect, Vem Miller, they looked inside of his car and they found an illegal loaded handgun and shotgun, a high-capacity magazine, multiple passports and driver's licenses in various names. His license plate was also fake. Miller was arrested on state misdemeanor weapons charges and then released. Now, the Secret Service says Miller never got to their security perimeter, and the former president was not in danger.
Fox's Brian Yinnis reporting. The CDC says whooping cough cases have reached record levels since 2014. CDC data shows 16,000 confirmed cases, with 2 deaths just this year. Bundling up wouldn't be a bad idea this week.
That's because it's getting colder. I'm John Herrick.
On Tuesday night and into Wednesday night. So on those nights, we'll see low temperatures in the middle 30s, and that's going to give us chances for frost across central Indiana.
Which is why Jason Puma with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says if you have plants outside, it's best if you bring them inside or cover them up so they don't get ruined by the frost. He says temperatures will be similar to central Indiana all across the state. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Sunday's win in Tennessee was a great team win, says Indianapolis Colts head coach Shane Steichen.
Shout out to our defense. Shout out to our defensive coaches with the plan they had. I think they only had, 239 yards. Great job by the defense. So hell of a team win.
The Colts play the Miami Dolphins Sunday. WIBC News Time, 3:33. Traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Mike loves the fall in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With a look at traffic, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Donnie, looking at Johnson County, the entrance from Morrisville Road to northbound 65 is closed because of a rolled semi. Looking at the south side, westbound 465 before I-65, that is a crash. And that is partially blocking the exit ramp right now if you're peeling off to 465. The ramp is open, but we do have traffic slow past Arlington Avenue to Southeastern. West side, somebody tagged the wall big time here on northbound 465. It's at West 21st Street, shy of Crawfordsville Road going northbound. And right now, 2 right lanes closed, traffic jam back to Rockville Road. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product. Discover more at royalspa.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast brought to you by the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Not enough spotty showers are possible for us tonight with lows down in the low 40s. Then another chilly fall day is ahead for Tuesday with highs only in the mid-50s with a breeze out of the north. There is also going to be a chance for on-off spotty showers as well. I'm Wish TV Storm Track Game meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt sitting in for Hammer Nigel. Jim, this is our 3rd day in a row.
It is.
Apparently, they're going to let us run out this 3-day stint here.
The door was unlocked today, which was great. You know, Klopp, I want to just return to the Dr. McCormick. I'm so sorry that we weren't able to have a really crisp interview that was broken up by phone connection. But everybody needs to know that the governor, should she be elected governor, she can make appointments according to the Indiana Capital Chronicle. That's what her point is. And also at the end of that article, she had talked about putting it on the ballot. Well, we don't do that in Indiana. No. That's in Florida, among other
Florida, California. That's one of the things I love about Indiana, because when you start getting into all those ballot initiatives, that just becomes chaos.
It is, and that's what the legislature's for.
Right,
and,
exactly.
And she's taken a very, very delicate topic, because I don't know where she gets the 60% that support it and how she can support Roe. But the legislature met. They are supported by the people. And we have a law in Indiana that no governor is going to be able to topple. And I want to be that clear. But you went to French Lick.
I did. So, Jim, yeah, we were when we left here on Friday, you went to a gala.
Yeah, I did.
How was your gala?
It was very nice. It was a good time. Raised some money. And not as much fun as you had, I'm sure.
So Saturday, if you recall, was gorgeous weather. And I've got an older, it's a 93 Mustang, Fox body Mustang convertible. It was kind of a special edition. And on Friday and Saturday, the Shelby Mustang Club of America was having a big meet at the French Lick Springs Resort down there.
So Brad's Travels, is that what you call it?
Adventures with Brad.
Adventures with Brad.
Look for it on Facebook.
Along with Sheila in tow.
Yep, along with my wife Sheila. So given it was a nice day, we loaded up in the Mustang and drove down there. French Lick is just a gem of a place in Indiana. So we had a great drive down there, saw some really cool cars. So they had a cruise-in that was outside for cars that didn't want to pay the $50 or more to be on display inside, which I was one of the outsiders. But we went inside. There was an original Cobra. I think it was a 65 Cobra.
You don't see those very often.
No, not at all. And actually, there were 2 Cobras there. This one had actually raced. And they estimated it was worth about $5 million. Then there was a 66 Ford GT that was there. Both those cars are going to go to Mecum, apparently, and
be auctioned off.
To be auctioned off. They're estimating that Ford GT is going to go for $15 million.
Did you eat some good food?
Oh, had some great food. Actually, I do want to give a shout out to listener Paul. I've now seen Paul 2 weekends in a row. I'd never met this dude ever before. We went down to Nashville, Brown County, just over a week ago, and ran into Paul at Hard Truth Distillery down there. And then Paul has a 1970 Boss 302 that is just a rad car, and we saw him again. So
Well, you had German food.
We did. So
you had
there's
a cheeseburger. I see on Facebook you had a cheeseburger.
Did have a cheeseburger. So there's a German cafe there. So we didn't stay at the car show. We started walking around. There was an art festival going on in downtown French Lick. And Sheila, I like seeing art festivals. We saw that. There's a German cafe that's there that's really authentic. So went and had a couple knockwurst. Enjoyed that. I did not have a beer at the German cafe. It's a little early in the day.
Yeah.
Then we were walking around, saw some boutiques. So I think most people go down to French Lick and think it's just the casino,
convention,
and
conference,
and the West Baden Springs Hotel. It's funny, we barely even stepped in those buildings. So we walked around more, and then the American Legion in downtown French Lick, they were doing some sort of a fundraiser, but they were grilling burgers out there along the sidewalk. And they're like, well, hey, we just had lunch when we found them. And they go, well, come back. We're going to be here till like 6 grilling burgers. We got a band that starts at 6 o'clock. So we went back at 6 o'clock. Jim, literally, I was trying to give them money, and we ended up only spending like $25 because the cheeseburgers were only $5 each. It was $3 for a beer. We tipped the band $5. And and we were out of there, but had a blast. Actually, the band was cool. It was, I'm assuming high school kids. They were wearing braces and stuff, but they were playing classic rock songs and dancing around like they were real rock stars.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun. And great
also, I think we need to talk about voter turnout.
We do. So there was
registration. Indiana is behind.
Yes. So the Indiana Capital Chronicle has a story that came out today, written by Leslie Bonilla Munoz, says that Hoosiers are Indiana. We rank 50th out of 51. They count D.C. in that for voter turnout.
Yeah. Sad.
So they cited.
And folks, we need to beat that this year. We need to be 51st. Immeasurably. No, we need to be first.
Oh, we do need to be first. So the article cited bad candidates. I'm looking at you, Jim Merritt. Not knowing the issues by the voters and feeling that their votes don't matter were some of the reasons that were cited. So what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, Indiana's got supermajorities, and we have very few competitive legislative districts, very few competitive congressional districts. In fact, there's really only one that I would consider. The first district is the only one I consider really the least bit competitive.
Well, it's something to be very concerned about. And you just kind of wonder what goes through somebody's mind that they're not going to vote. You know, it's easy to do. It's easy to register to vote. It's easy to vote. And the technology has brought us so far that, like in Marion County, you can vote anywhere you want, and it still count. And so it's confounding to me. And maybe we can talk to Mario Hamilton County Republican chairman, when he comes on later.
Yeah, I mean, one of the people they interviewed, apparently Indiana will issue you a driver's license that has your address deleted on it, and it's just a privacy protection issue. But apparently this person has a devil of a time trying to vote because her address is not on her driver's license.
Well, you can also have just an ID card.
Well, I think the point is, even with the ID card, it's the protecting your identity, and so that was some of the things cited. So
that's a concern, no question.
Yeah, so we'll definitely talk to Mario about that. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show with Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt. Matt Baer, how the road's looking?
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
My husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
I love my Window Nation windows. They look great on my house. Window Nation's 96% customer satisfaction rating, the highest in their industry.
And Window Nation's energy-efficient windows can save you up to 40% on your energy bill. I know because I'm a customer and I've seen it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows for free, plus pay nothing, no interest for 2 years. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
My brother never checks on Dad, or my sister won't make time to take Mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Dropping temperatures? B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical has you covered. Visit bplusw.com/radio today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa. Tailgate this Sunday from 10 to 1 at the parking lot at McCarty and Church Street before the Colts-Dolphins game. Presented by Real Alternatives, Jack Daniels, and Twin Peaks. Register to win tickets to the game and $100 in Colts cash from Bud Light. No purchase necessary.
Matt Bear, thumbs up or thumbs down today?
No, give it a up just because it's Monday. Looking at the west side, crash northbound 465 at West 21st Street. Right now, 2 right lanes are blocked, and we have traffic stopped to Rockville Road. Somebody really tagged the barrier wall there big time. Looking in Johnson County, northbound 65, the entrance ramps closed from Worsville Road. Okay, that's shut down because of a road semi. Up in Madison County, we have traffic stopped on I-69 both directions from State Road 332. That's because of a crash involving another overturned semi. Again, traffic backed up for miles in both directions from 332. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
58 degrees and partly sunny at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Welcome back, Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt. We host the Merritt in the Morning podcast. Look for us on YouTube and Facebook. Jim, I don't know if I ever told you, when I was in college, I did college radio up at Purdue.
I didn't know that.
WLAY Radio, Tarkington Hall.
Fantastic.
Yeah, today reminds
me.
me.
But you didn't have beautiful Monument Circle.
We did not have, no, we were in the basement.
It's a beautiful day today.
Didn't even have a window. My point is, the show so far today has reminded me a little bit of those days.
No worries.
So if you could, go ahead and introduce our next guest for us.
Yes. Tony, you there?
I am. How are you?
How are you? Tony Andraga. You know, I hear you on Kevin Bowen in the morning, and it's just really interesting to hear your knowledge of basketball and IU basketball and maybe even a little Purdue basketball. The team has completely changed this year down in Bloomington, the basketball team, as well as the football team. What are your expectations for this winter with the folks on the hardwood?
Sure. Yeah. First off, appreciate you having me on. Always enjoy chatting some Hoosier basketball, and like you said, the football team down there is pretty hot right now too. So that's always fun to squeak in as well. But yeah, in terms of Indiana's roster this season, obviously a complete overhaul from the transfer portal, primarily for what they've got down there with Mike Woodson and company. In terms of my expectations, I think mine are probably tempered a bit more than most. And it's not from like a pessimistic standpoint. It's more so from just like, I've got to see it. All the talking points this offseason coming from Bloomington and the coaching staff has primarily been about changing the style of play, being more guard-oriented, guard-focused. Obviously, the last few seasons under Mike Woodson have been primarily about post-play and have, put Trace Jackson Davis and Kelly Ware into the NBA draft. So, it's not all for naught, but, guards win in college basketball. And so they've talked about changing the style of play. They've brought in players that would indicate they are going to change, but I'm in very much a wait-and-see approach for how all those pieces will fit together and what that means for Indiana moving forward in this basketball season.
So, Tony, what is the horizon for Mike Woodson? Does he have to win this year?
I would say yes. Just with the resources at his disposal, that's talking about, number one, the Indiana branding. It's granted, it's been a while since they've been on the, at the top of the basketball world, but they're still what many would indicate as kind of a blue blood program, a lot of history, a rabid fan base. And then really, when I talk about resources, I'm talking about NIL. I think there's been quite a few polls out there of Big Ten coaches, and pretty much unanimous vote on who has the most NIL money always comes back to Indiana. So, they're kind of like the Yankees of the Big Ten. Like if they're not performing well, there should be some questions asked about, what's going on there. They had a good portal haul. They've talked about how this is their most talented team. I think, and then when you look at what Mike Woodson said when he came, he said, I came here to win Big Ten titles and national titles. So I think it's only fair to hold him accountable to that. And that's not to say he needs to win that to keep his job, but I do think Indiana needs to win. Last season was obviously a large step backward. Computer rankings had them anywhere from 90th to 100th in the country. And like I said, with the resources at his disposal, that's just an unacceptable product. And they went in the portal. They're trying to figure things out to have a better product on the floor this season. And all indications are that they will. But, I do think that the temperature has turned up a bit on his seat and getting Indiana back to prominence.
Well, sans the trip to the Bahamas, that tournament, it doesn't look like they're playing many tough teams. And is that because do they want to get to know themselves? Do they want to get used to playing basketball together? What is the reason why a basketball team wouldn't play a higher talented team that is not on the schedule this year, pre-Big Ten?
Yeah, that one's interesting to me too, because really where IU fans were excited when Woody came to town was that he was scheduling kind of some marquee non-conference matchups. He was getting Kentucky back on the books for a non-conference game, and last year obviously they played Kansas. They had Auburn last season. The tide was kind of turning because, Tom Crean was notorious for playing very easy non-conference schedules, and then things would ramp up in conference season, and it didn't seem like the team would be prepared. Certainly seems like Indiana is playing more to that mindset this year. And, time will tell on if that's the way to go. I get it from a standpoint of, like you said, wanting guys to gel and getting some confidence. The problem with Indiana last season was when they did play these cupcakes, they were still beating them by 3, 4, 5 points. And when you do that, that really hurts you in the computer metrics. And there's people that will say like, "Oh, computer nerds, whatever," but like those things matter. Like when it comes to making the NCAA tournament, they're looking at computer rankings, they're looking at KenPom, they're looking at the net. And when you're beating teams that are in the 300s in the country by 3, 4, 5 points, that's going to hurt your computer ranking. So I think how Indiana's scheduled, I think it can work out in their favor.
Tony, we're up against a hard break here. We appreciate you joining us talking basketball. I could do this all day.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks. You're listening to the Hammer Nigel Show today, featuring Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt. We'll be right back.
Man, I love the way my brand new Galaxy concrete garage floor looks. Those guys did an amazing job. They were in and out within a day. My old garage floor was dirty and gross and cracked, and their amazing staff came in and within a day made it look brand new. It's not epoxy, by the way. It's better and 4 times stronger. I spend a ton of time out in my garage, and my new Galaxy concrete garage floor is out of this world. Check out their website and see pictures and get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call their office at 317-751-9070.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
Rampant crime, crumbling roads, unaffordable housing, open borders, and high inflation. That's Andre Carson's record after 16 years in Congress. Have you had enough yet? It's time for John Schmitz, an Indy native who's working for safe streets, an end to inflation, and a bright future for Indy. John Schmitz has the experience, creativity, and energy to tackle the issues holding back Indianapolis. Help make Schmitz happen. Vote John Schmitz for Congress. Learn more at johnschmitzforcongress.com. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message, paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy.
Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Coming up in 2 minutes, jury selection for the Delphi murders case continues in Allen County. What to expect from the forecast this week, and John Herrick reports on the return of Indiana Task Force 1. Those stories and more next from the Technology Recycler Studios. I'm Donnie Burgess. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 4 o'clock.
They'll be at opposite ends of the same battleground. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Trump has a town hall event outside Philadelphia this evening, while Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Erie, Pennsylvania.
This is also a county that has been getting a lot of attention because it went to Trump in 2016, flipped to Democrats in 2020, and is a toss-up this cycle. And we are hearing today from Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who believes the entire state is a toss-up.
Fox's Mark Merritt in Erie. Harris is focusing on outreach to black men as well over concerns some may sit out the election, unveiling new economic proposals, including more apprenticeships, forgivable business loans for entrepreneurs, and studying sickle cell and other diseases that disproportionately affect black men. The U.S. is sending an advanced missile defense system to Israel with about 100 U.S. troops to operate it.
We know there are only 9 THAAD systems deployed around the world. One of them will be here in Israel this week to help the Israelis respond if there is another ballistic missile attack from Iran. And it comes as the Iran-backed militia in Lebanon, Hezbollah, continues to fire on cities like Haifa and into central Israel. Overnight, 4 Israeli soldiers were killed in a drone strike targeting a dining hall at a military base north of Tel Aviv. Israeli officials say this is another example of why they have to operate on the ground against Hezbollah.
Fox's Trey Yingst in northern Israel. Lebanese Red Cross officials say an Israeli airstrike hit an apartment building in northern Lebanon today, killing at least 21 people. The Pentagon criticizing Chinese war games around Taiwan, calling it irresponsible and destabilizing. China's defense ministry says those military exercises are an increase in pressure against Taiwan independence and that more could follow. A new milestone on Wall Street. The Dow topping 43,000 for the first time and staying there, up 201 points at the bell to a new record. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're almost done with the 3-day process. Partly cloudy skies, 58 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Jury selection was supposed to last for 3 days, but it may be done before you go to bed. 11 of the 12 jurors have been selected for the Delphi murders case. The court still needs alternate picks, and they have to be sworn in. Opening statements are expected Friday, but that could be moved up. Here's what you can expect from the weather this week.
We are not seeing any significant chances for rain in the next 7 days, so essentially dry but cooler weather.
Cool enough to leave some frost on your lawn, says forecaster Jason Puma. Indiana Task Force 1 was originally deployed to help with hurricane response on September 24th. The team announced today that they've been given the release,
which means they're allowed to return to Indiana. I'm John Herrick. They're expected to come back sometime on Tuesday. Task Force 1 to help with cleanup, recovery, and more from the damage caused by Hurricanes Milton and Helene. They had gone from Florida to North Carolina and then back to Florida before being told to return home. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you steal political signs, you can be charged. That's the warning from the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. The county has had a problem with some signs being stolen, which is illegal under Indiana law. For Indiana Pacers owner and Hall of Famer Herb Simon, 1983 is a year he will always remember.
Simon didn't know what to expect when he walked into a meeting with the former owners of the team that year. The Pacers weren't doing well, and there was a group that wanted to take them out of town. During his enshrinement speech at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame on Sunday, he said it was the late Jim Morris that helped him broker a deal that would keep the team here.
Jim was a great civic leader for many years. He was a friend for 50 years.
a member of the Pacer family.
Simon will be 90 years old. He's owned the Pacers for the last 41 years. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
WIBC News Time, 4:04. Traffic and weather up next.
If you are a single or widowed woman, well, the statistics aren't very pretty. You run into a far greater risk of running out of money in retirement than any man or married couple. Hello there, it's Terry Stacy, and the last thing you want to be is 80 years old, full of life, and flat broke. Discover the strategies that could ensure you never run out of money in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. I know Bill, and I trust Bill, and I'm so thankful that he was able to help my mom, too. I don't put my name on any random Joe, but I'm here to say you can count on Bill Demery. Call Bill at 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212. Call Bill right now.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Baer.
Yeah, Donnie, west to side crash northbound 465 at West 21st Street. That's before Crawfordsville Road, and the right lane is closed. Because of that crash, traffic is slow back to Rockville Road, but we are moving. Johnson County, northbound 65, the entrance ramp from Morrisville Road is shut down because of a rolled semi-trailer. And up in Delaware County, southbound, northbound 69, both jammed up for miles south of State Road 67. That is because of a rolled semi-trailer avoid. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast, brought to you by the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
There's a chance for runoff spotty showers tonight with lows down in the low 40s. Another chilly fall days ahead for Tuesday with highs in the mid-50s with a breeze out of the north. Also a chance for spotty showers as well during the day. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show up next. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
Good afternoon, Indianapolis. Brad Klopfenstein, former state senator, 30-year state senator Jim Merritt.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for being here. We are filling in for Hammer and Nigel. They will be back tomorrow. At least half of them will be back tomorrow. I haven't heard if it's 100% or 50.
I'm sure a lot of people are anxious for that day.
I'm sure they are. Hey, regardless, we've got important stuff to talk about, Jim.
And Angela Ganote is always in the middle of it.
Yes, she is. So joining us on the Merritt in the Morning hotline, Angela Ganote from Fox 59. Welcome.
Hey, hello, Jim and Brad. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much.
So, Angela, you put out a report on Logansport that's touched some nerves and is pretty important on some immigration issues that they're having there. My impression is that you chose Logansport, but they are not the only city in Indiana that's having this issue.
Right. And I want to just say that I'm focusing right now on Logansport because that is where I had first one viewer reach out to me 7 weeks ago and had some inside information on some different text messages and information that had come out of the hospital. And she said, can you verify what my family is being told that is happening at the hospital? And so when somebody brings me that kind of question with some evidence or information, what I do is and say, well, let me start working on this. So I start by reaching out to the hospital, reaching out to the health department in Cass County, reaching out to the Indiana Health Department, then with the mayor, county commissioners, city council members, superintendent of schools. And then I spent 6-7 hours in Logansport just talking to residents and people that live there to come up with first the answer to the question that I got. And then tried to find out what the real story was that was happening in Logansport at the time.
You know, Klopp, journalism is kind of a lost art, and Angela has found it.
Yes,
and
I agree.
She is an outstanding reporter, and she does this for a lot of stories when you just dig it out. And I understand why the focus on Logansport, because of Tyson, pays well, and as well as it's a welcoming city. how we heard you on Tony Katzlow earlier, and one thing that I didn't get a real sense of is how do the people of Logansport feel about this situation? We know the services are strained, but how do people feel about it?
Well, I think that, it's just like with anything. You could ask, let's say you had 100 people and you're going to have 50 people that say, we are one of the most diverse cities in Indiana. We have 28 countries represented. We have 27 languages spoken here. We are a city of immigrants. And then the other 50 will say, we agree with that. Our concern is at what point, or is there becoming a point, like the mayor now claims, that they're starting to see a strain on their services. And what does that mean? We have a Ball State economist who has really been attacking me, saying that it's all lies and it's based on fear. And, I'm just the reporter, the vessel for trying to find information. If somebody comes to you, and Jim, you would know this probably better than anybody when it comes to paying bills. Because the number's not known at this point, if you have 5,000 new residents that come to your town, and 1 in 4 are on Medicaid, and 1 in 4 are on food stamps, and 1 in 4 are getting Section 8 housing, is that at some point create a burden that you cannot pay for?
There is a breaking point there. There's going to be.
So, Angela, I've got a question. You'd mentioned in the article, and on the story that you did on TV, that the school system has, 14 different languages that are represented, I believe, in their student body. And obviously...
They have 27. They have 27.
27. Okay, I'm sorry. So, which the schools do have to provide services, and I would doubt that most school districts have people who can speak those 27 different languages. So that is obviously an expense. But then you also mentioned, or maybe alluded to, that there might be some kids that are being sent here without parents that are attending school in Logansport.
Well, and that is so. Anyone can go listen to the Cass County Commissioner meetings for every month for this whole year. And if you look at the Cass County Commissioner meeting, at one point in the meeting, every month, the Cass County Health Administrator talks. And she will talk in every meeting about like communicable diseases, where they stand. And then in some of those meetings, especially in the September 3rd meeting, she is talking about being in what they call newcomer meetings. So that's meetings where there's a new immigrant, or in one case that she sat in, 1 week there were 16 new students. So she was sitting in on the meeting and she's talking to the children that have come here from other countries, and they are telling her their story. Again, it's not my story. It's not me lying. It's not me making something up. I am believing what the immigrant is saying. They're saying that they've come here from another country, that they've come here from, in this particular case, Nicaragua or Haiti or El Salvador, and they hadn't seen their parents for 7 years, and they had come unaccompanied. That was their story. I did not get to talk to that immigrant. I did not get to talk to the child, but the Cass County Health Administrator said she sits on the meetings and she talked to them.
So we're talking to Angela Ganote from Fox 59. Another question for you. Why Logansport? Why is Logansport a destination for all these people? Are they coming because of jobs, or are they being sent here by immigration? Where are they all coming from?
I think there's a few different things working there. I think because of Tyson, I talked to one immigrant who said that's why a lot of the people that he knows wants to come there, because he knows that they work well with the different city services to be able to get them a job. Meaning, for example, there is an Immigration Connection is a not-for-profit in Logansport. They would not talk to me on the record. I went in to try to get Zach to speak to me, but he wouldn't. But if you look him up from 4 years ago, he got $1 million grant from Tyson. And what he does is he helps immigrants with the process of trying to figure out all of the crazy documentation. So if you have someone who can help make it easier, then that's part of the way that one would assume that people are picking or choosing a specific area to live in. one being Tyson, and then another when you have an organization that understands the process that helps you. I mean, like when I walked in there, I mean, one of the first things it says is basically, here's how to apply for free insurance. Yeah. Here's how to apply for SNAP benefits. I mean, they have that stuff set up to help people. I'm not saying that you shouldn't help people. I'm just trying to lay out the facts.
Right. And with this Ball State professor, Angela, you and I have worked on issues. You've worked on super ethics type of moral issues that have been on these airways before. And you've got a daughter at IU and a son, 17 now?
Yeah, he's getting ready to get a phone call from another track coach that might want him to run for him in college. So I'm getting ready to get off and get on that call.
We'll be brief with this. Yeah. You know, on a personal basis, how do you talk to your children about this issue?
Well, you know what? I don't really like to talk about me personally too often, but when I'm asked, you know, I've taken some hits here in the last couple of...
No question about it. That's why we have you on.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, and they're, you know, when someone says you're shameful, or when someone says you're a racist, I want to say, well, if you only knew, and you know what, since I've been asked, okay, for the last 15 years, you want to know what I and my husband and my family has done? We have a child that is in Africa, and we have a child that is in Guatemala, and every month we send more than $100 to each of them so that they can stay in the home that they want to stay in the country that they wanted to stay in. We also give 10% before taxes of our first money that we earn to give to those that are less fortunate. The question here doesn't have to deal with are people racist or don't have a heart or are they shameless? It's why can't we have an honest question? If somebody gives Angela Gannett at Fox 59 a question, why can't she go to a community and try to find the answer?
And you have asked Angela, right? What's it called?
Yes, and that's what I do. And it was just like, I mean, the Netflix special with, Dr. Klein. Yeah. That's how that came to me. Angela, I believe my OBGYN, my fertility, my mom's fertility doctor, I believe that he's my father. And people are like, yeah, right. No one would believe her.
And AG, this is exactly why I wanted you on today, and very much appreciate you getting personal on this issue, because there's more to ask Angela. And I suggest everybody ask Angela a question.
Trying to find the answers for you guys, and let's not criticize people. Let's try to have great back and forth conversations and debate and try to learn from each other to solve problems instead of trying to create more animosity toward one another.
Fox 59's Angela Gannett, keep up the good work. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
They can see your work more on fox59.com. We appreciate you spending some time with us.
All right. Hey, you guys have a good one.
All right. Thanks. You too. Now let's take a look at the roads with Matt Baer.
West side crash, northbound 465 at West 21st Street. Right lane is blocked, and stop-and-go traffic back to Rockville Road. Also looking at inbound 65, that's stop-and-go 21st to Meridian in Penn, Delaware County. We have a road semi, and that has stopped traffic on I-69 just south of State Road 67. In both directions, 69 jammed up for miles in both directions just south of State Road 67 because of a rolled semi-trailer. Traffic sponsored by Wendy's. Any size soft drinks for $1. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, anytime. Coke, Sprite, strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1. Gotta be Wendy's. Limited time only. Participating Wendy's terms apply. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
55 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. When we come back, we'll be talking to Hamilton County Republican Party Chair Mario Massalamani. This is 93 WIBC.
Fall in Indy is great, but don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint, and the crew
painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house and all the pillars, and once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and that would be the way to go.
And here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Does your job require you to be on your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff. Many of us need our feet to get through the day. Hi, it's Phoebe with the Good Feet Store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real Good Feet Store customer who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the 3-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse like Donna or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet Store. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall or in Greenwood just off the 65. Learn more at goodfeet.com. Good Feet Arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book an appointment for your free personalized fitting at goodfeet.com or just stop in. Walk-ins are welcome. Helping people live pain-free 2 feet at a time.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
When it's time to renovate, it's time to call Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com, because it's about the process. It's about dealing with professionals who are with you every step of the way, communicating how things work. The best craftsmen and professionals who have been doing kitchens and bathrooms in Indianapolis for 2 decades. Talk to Booher Remodeling today about how they work and why it will work for you and your new kitchen. Call 317-852-5546, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year, illegally. Poaching is just one of the risks animals face at our hands. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor. I grew up in the beautiful rural countryside of Ohio, where animals roamed freely in the open forests. I have a deep concern to help preserve those open spaces for our wildlife friends so they can live and thrive like they used to. Destruction of their habitats threaten their very existence. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land where they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats, and establish permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE. Or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt sitting in. Jim. I run the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce. What is it that you've done?
I've got a consulting company called JWM Consulting, but I also served in the Senate for a couple decades.
More than a couple.
Yeah.
That would be three.
Three.
Three
Mhm.
decades.
3 decades.
So joining us on the Merritt in the Morning hotline, Hamilton County GOP Chair Mario Masalamani. Mario, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We've been talking throughout the day. Brad and I have been talking about getting out the vote, and we had a statistic a little earlier that the percentage of Hoosiers that vote is at the rock bottom of the 50 states. And I know you work day and night in Hamilton County, get out the vote and support candidates. How is it going, Mario?
You know, because it's a presidential race, I think that there's a lot more excitement, but we still need to get people to get out and vote. Indiana has gone from an election day state to an election month state. So you can start voting either through absentee ballot or by early voting a month before Election Day. And as the Republican chairman of Hamilton County, I have been asking people for the last 3.5 years of my term, bank your vote. Let's bank your vote. Go vote early. Don't wait till Election Day. You don't know in Indiana if the weather is going to be bad, if the lines are going to be long. This is a presidential race. Lines will be long. So instead of waiting in a long line or hoping that your son or daughter isn't sick or the weather is bad, bank your vote. You can take 30 seconds to go online and request an absentee ballot and then vote from your house. That way we can track your vote, make sure that it's counted, and we can know at that point that we don't need to worry about making sure you're voting. So we can expend our resources in targeting other people to vote because we can track who's voting and who's not voting. And so those annoying text messages, those annoying mailers that you get, those annoying calls.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those later.
If you early vote. Yes. You will get those votes. You will, by voting early, you will not get those annoying text messages, annoying mailers, and annoying phone calls.
So, Mario, first let me ask, where in Hamilton County can people vote early?
So there's 2 different locations right now that people can vote early. One is they can go to the Judicial Center. That's at the Hamilton County Courthouse, and they can vote there from 8 o'clock to 4:30 p.m., and so they can vote there up till Election Day. Or they can go to the Hamilton County Fairgrounds, and they can vote there also from 8 to 11, or from October 8th through the 11th, and then October 14th through the 18th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then on the October 23rd on, there will be additional voting sites in Westfield, Fishers, and Carmel. So we are making voting very accessible to Hamilton County residents to make it as easy as possible for them to go vote before Election Day.
So how's it look? What's the response been so far this year for you?
So we've had a lot of early voting on election as soon as we started the process, but it started to taper down. And so, our big push is, the problem, especially I'm trying to get Republicans to come out and vote. And my Republican friends tell me, Mario, Indiana's a red state. We know that Trump is going to win, Braun's going to win, and Jim Banks is going to win. Here's the thing. If everyone thinks that, it allows for an opportunity for Democrats to sneak in. And so we need Republicans to come out and vote and cast your ballot. Because in this election cycle, yes, we expect Republicans to win on the top of the ticket, but we have great candidates that are running for state rep, for state senate, that need your vote, that need your support. And we need to bank your vote by having Republicans come out and turn out.
Mario Masalamani, Hamilton County GOP Chairman, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate all you do.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care. When we come back, we will be talking to our very own witch correspondent, Tabitha. You're listening to Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt. We're filling in for the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water, keeping criminals behind bars where they belong, recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars, creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work, successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports, and defending, of course, our pro-life values, and the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Absolute Comfort. Chris Wedekin is the owner, and he tells us why many homeowners are giving up their air conditioners for a high-efficiency heat pump.
By removing your air conditioner and replacing it with a heat pump, you are not only saving by getting a higher efficiency air conditioner, the heat pump works in reverse and saves you money in the wintertime as well.
See if a heat pump is the right move for you by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
This could change the trial schedule. 57 degrees, cloudy skies, low 40s tonight. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 4:30. 11 of the 12 jurors needed for the Delphi murders trial have been seated so far, but the process isn't over. Alternate picks are still needed, and everyone will need to be sworn in. This was supposed to take 3 days. If everything wraps up sooner than expected, it could move up the trial start date. An Afghan national charged in a plot to commit a terrorist attack on Election Day.
The suspect may have gotten to the U.S. through his ties to the government that may have earned him a special visa after the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. The administration is on the defensive. What feds want to understand is when the suspect developed the terror plot. And here's the question, was this a long-standing conspiracy from when he lived in Afghanistan, or did he engineer the plans once he arrived?
That's Fox's Chad Pergram reporting. Former President Trump says he needs more security, and Florida Republican Congressman Mike Waltz is in agreement. He tells Fox's America's Newsroom Trump should have more military planes.
The administration has said President Trump has the same level of security as Biden and Harris. Biden and Harris are flying in military planes with all of their defenses. We need the same for President Trump, too, to match this unprecedented threat.
That threat being the 2 assassination attempts on the former president. Frost is expected this week, reports John Herrick.
Along with the frost, there is little to no rain expected all across the state for at least the next 7 days. Jason Puma with the National Weather Service has more on the temperatures.
Our normal high temperatures for this time of year is really only in the lower 60s. So the temperatures that we've had in the 70s and even the lower 80s have been well above normal of recently. So we're kind of really getting back to where we should be for this time of year.
Over the next couple of days, he says don't be surprised if you wake up to temperatures being around the freezing mark. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
This Saturday, it's the undefeated Indiana Hoosier football team against Nebraska in front of a sellout crowd. Head coach Kurt Cignetti said Monday it's on the team to get the job done.
I think it's more about us performing as well as we're capable of performing and give the crowd a reason to really get into the game, which I'm highly confident we will.
Kickoff is Saturday at noon. And the closing bell report on 93 WIBC, a record-breaking day for the Dow, closing above 43,000 for the first time ever. The Nasdaq up 159 to 18,502, and the S&P 500 finished 44 points higher to 5,859. WIBC News Time, 4:33. Traffic and weather coming up in 1 minute.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com and grow your hair back today.
With traffic, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Donnie, looking at the west side, northbound 465 at 21st, shy of Crawfordsville Road. That's a crash in the right lane, a little bit slow for about a half a mile. Inbound 69, stop and go, 96th Street down to 82nd. In Delaware County, an overturned semi-cab and trailer has southbound 69 closed after State Road 67. That is the Daleville exit to State Road 67. Traffic backed up from that exit for about 4 miles, and northbound stopped at State Road 9 while crews assist on the other side of the interstate. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better hot tubs. 24-hour water filtration, purification, and aeration means better water quality. Natural minerals and Epsom salts means better relaxation. Discover more at royalspa.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast brought to you by the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll track the chance for on and off spotty showers for our Monday night with lows falling down into the low 40s. Then we're in for another chilly fall day for Tuesday with highs only getting into the mid 50s with a breeze out of the north and plenty of cloud cover at times. There is also going to be potential for on and off spotty showers for Tuesday as well. Now for into Wednesday, there is potential for our day to start off with some frost development with temperature starting off in the mid-30s, and then we're in for another day in the mid-50s on Wednesday. I'm Witch TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Good afternoon, Indianapolis. The cast of the Merritt in the Morning podcast here with you. We're filling in for Hammer Nigel, our third day in a row. He is Jim Merritt, 30-year state senator. I am Brad Klopfenstein, former candidate for lieutenant governor. Jim, I finished third. I don't know if you knew that. Actually, I do have a question. Since I was the running mate, did I receive 110,000 votes or 0 votes?
I think you got 110,000 votes.
Then how many votes did Rupert get?
He got 110,000 votes. You shared them.
We shared, okay. Like a 3-legged race?
I would think that you being a team got all those votes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I agree. We'll go with that. So, Jim, I am so excited about our next guest. You know, this time of year, the days are getting shorter. The temperatures are starting to cool down.
Fall is coming. Halloween's coming.
Fall is coming. Halloween. You've been able to buy Halloween gear since Labor Day and Menards. And you didn't even know this until I mentioned it to you on Friday. Did you know that we have our very own witch correspondent?
You know, I'm flummoxed.
Look at Jim throwing out the big words. Joining us on the line from here in Central Indiana resident, Tabitha, our own very own witch. Tabitha, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Wonderful. Nice to hear your voice. So we have lots of questions on. We'll just start with how did you decide that you were a witch, or how did this, or did it come to you? I mean, we're kind of curious. How does one become a witch?
Okay. Well, I think that's lots of questions, but I personally came to being a witch because I think it was just something that was fun when I was growing up. I grew up in the woods, and I was always outside, and I loved nature, and I loved Halloween. And my mom and her friends would go get tarot readings, at the psychic shows and things, and it was just something I was interested in. So as I became an adult, I started asking questions and reading books, and just learned the trade or the tools, so to speak.
So is there a witch school?
Oh, that's a
university?
Really good
Do they have like a
witch
football
university?
team?
There's probably not a witch university, but if you're really interested, there are a lot of online schools. I'm sure there are you can take classes here in Indianapolis at some of the what I'll call new age shops if you want to learn different pieces and parts of being a witch. So yeah, there's definitely schools, but maybe not a degree.
So what all does being a witch entail?
Well, that is going to depend on who you talk to. It's a lot.
No two witches are the same?
No two witches are the same. It's a lot like saying you go to church. Okay. Everybody kind of has a different flavor or a different idea of what that means. But basically, most witches are very into nature. A lot of us like the seasons and the moon phases and crystals and learning about, I will say, herbs or, how to use essential oils, those things that we can use in nature to make our lives better.
Okay, so on the moon phase, let's just go through these one at a time. So moon phases, what all does that mean to a witch, and what do you do?
Okay, well, so, as we know, the moon goes through the cycle every 28 days, and I don't know if you've ever noticed, but like emergency rooms, doctor's offices, things will get a little crazy around a full moon.
Oh, teachers will talk about that with their students.
Absolutely.
Emergency
and it really,
doctors.
it's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. There's an energetic pull with the moon. So most witches, if we're going to do some magic or do some spells that we're trying to manifest something, we're going to do that around a full moon. Mm-hmm. Versus the new moon, or a dark moon, that's usually more of a resting time or more of a planning time. And then there are other phases kind of in between, but usually we kind of focus on new moon and full moon at a minimum.
Okay. So we are speaking to Tabitha.
I've got a question.
Tabitha, the official Hammer Nigel witch correspondent. Yeah. Jim, you do have questions, I know.
Not until this moment. A warlock is a male practitioner of witchcraft. Now, do witches marry warlocks, or do you know warlocks?
Well, I honestly have never used that term. That's usually something that you'll see more in movies. I think men can be called witches.
Oh, they can. Okay.
They can, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's not necessarily a gender, but sure, men can call themselves a warlock if they want. I would say witches will marry whoever they want. That may be a witch, it may be a warlock.
So this is kind of like Bewitched, where so your husband is not a warlock.
Or you don't wiggle your nose.
I do wiggle my nose, but no, my husband's an engineer, so you can imagine how that goes.
Well, so see, witches are just like you and me,
Klop,
Jim.
I'm so glad you got this segment.
So you mentioned crystals. What do crystals do? Do for you? Do for me?
Well, what they do I can tell you what they do for my husband is they make his stress level go up a little bit, because every time I go near a crystal store, I buy something. So,
so it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it's an expensive hobby. At one point, he said, my collection is probably more valuable than his coin collection, which is probably true. But crystals, so like I said, everything is connected by energy. We know that from science. And crystals, because they come from the earth, they carry certain frequencies or different energies, and many of them are minerals. And so we witches like to use them, number one, because they're pretty, but usually because it's associated with a color or a frequency or some sort of vibration that you're looking for.
All right, we are speaking to Tabitha, our official witch correspondent. Tabitha, we're going to have you hang on through the break because I still have lots more questions, and Jim is suddenly developing a whole lot more. In the meantime, we're going to throw it over to Matt Baer, who has a look at the roads.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Guys, we're notorious for putting things off. But when it comes to plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. If you're tired of taking showers with low water pressure or not enough hot water, you've got to stop putting it off and call Lance and the local team at LD Smith Plumbing and ask about water heater specials. These are the guys I trust in my house and in my friends' houses and my relatives' houses, and they're the licensed plumbers you want in your house too. LDSmithPlumbing.com. That's LDSmithPlumbing.com.
Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. Create your dream engagement ring and browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts. From diamond studs, tennis bracelets, birthstone necklaces, and more. With our everyday competitive prices, an unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company knows how to work with your budget, not against it. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Sometimes it feels like it's next to impossible being a teenager these days.
There's so much uncertainty, pressure, and comparison.
That's why I'm so thankful to be a student athlete. I'm Lena Jones from Plymouth High School.
And I'm Whitman Horton from Crawfordsville High School. High school sports surround student athletes with people who can build us up when we struggle.
Our coaches mentor us in the game and in life.
Our teammates become our best friends as we work together.
We have support from everyone around us. Managers, parents, fans, our entire communities.
It really does take a village because they all contribute. They all make sacrifices. They all want to see us succeed.
Having people who have our back and believe in us lifts us up unlike anything else.
I am IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Be a champion of high school sports and the encouraging environment it provides by buying a ticket to your school's athletic events. This is supporting student athletes. This is believing in high schools. This is your IHSAA.
Weekend emergency? No problem. They're here for you 7 days a week at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. B+W.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Head to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a VIP experience to the World Food Championships at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, November 9th through the 12th, where over 300 competitive cooking teams from around the world will compete for the title of World Food Champion.
Matt Bear, I don't mean to stress you out. How are the roads looking?
Southbound 69, stop and go traffic, mostly stopped if you're trying to peel off to 465 right now. Stopped after 106 down past 82nd. There is road construction on that exit ramp. Eastbound 465, stop and go from Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. On the west side, crash northbound 465 at West 21st Street, blocking the right lane. And Delaware County southbound 69 is closed after State Road 67 because of a rolled semi. Both directions stopped for several miles. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for Insta Traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
56 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Welcome back. Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt, sitting in for Hammer and Nigel. Jim, this is our last day.
It is.
Are we quitting? Are we being fired?
Let's just hope we're not ushered out of the building.
That's true. we still have a couple hours to go. So, yes. So, continuing with our last segment, we have with us our official witch correspondent, Tabitha. Tabitha, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Tabitha, just so our listeners know, we're not calling you like from Massachusetts or somewhere. You live in Central Indiana, correct?
Yes, I do.
All right, Central Indiana resident. So, who knows? Your neighbor might be a witch.
Your neighbor probably is a witch.
Actually, that's true. You're not the only one around here, are you?
I am not.
Is there a society?
It's interesting that you asked that. There are groups. There are definitely meetup groups throughout Indiana. There's a Black Hat, I think it's the Irvington Black Hat Society down in Irvington that they meet. They do more fundraising and things, but I believe there are a few real witches there too. But a lot of us just seem to congregate together without meaning to. We're drawn to each other, I guess.
Yeah. So Jim, would you go to the witch bake sale?
Depends on what they're serving.
So now I gotta ask you, like a true witch, what about brooms? Do you ride a broom? Do you have a wand?
I do not ride a broom. I do have one propped up in my corner that's decorated right now for Halloween.
Nice.
I do have a wand. I don't necessarily use it for magic, but I thought it was pretty and hand carved. So, like my crystals, it was something that I got suckered into buying, I think, but it's beautiful.
So what does the wand do? I know that my wife one time asked if she could touch your wand, and she was forbidden from doing so.
What does your wand look like?
My wand it's just a piece of wood, and it's carved and stained and very beautiful. A wand is used to direct energy. So if you're trying to manifest something and maybe you're casting a spell and you want to direct some energy toward it, you just use the wand as an extension of your arm or your hand.
So now this time
I'm speechless.
Jim, I bet you never thought in your life that you'd be talking to a witch.
I'm speechless.
I know.
First time for everything.
So Tabitha, now is there anything special about this time of year, October leading up to Halloween? Are there more witch festivals, more things for you to do, or is this just like any other time of the year as far as you're concerned?
No, this is absolutely a big time of year for witches. Depending on your tradition, I refer to Halloween usually as Samhain. It's Samhan, so that's more of a Celtic tradition. But Halloween is kind of our big holiday. I always think of it as it's the culmination of the year. We do something called Wheel of the Year, so we celebrate different holidays throughout the year, usually around the solstices and the equinoxes, and Halloween is kind of like kicks off our new year. So you'll always see more festivals in the fall, and people get more excited about it and more accepting, I think, this time of year.
Halloween, do you do you dress up or just Lululemon, or when you greet Halloweeners?
I usually dress up. I will dress up in a witch costume just for fun.
So you got a hat and everything.
I have a hat and everything. Yep.
She's having fun in this interview too.
She is. I know she is. Tabitha is a very good sport, and I appreciate the fact that she's willing to come on and talk so much about this. So when you dress up as a witch, it's more like the cartoon witch as opposed to the everyday witch.
Right. Yeah. Everyday witch. I'm sitting here in jeans and a t-shirt and a sweater right now. That's my everyday witch.
Okay.
Or a business suit when I go to work. So,
So if you're hanging out at Target, people aren't going to say, "Oh, that woman's a witch." You can tell by looking at her.
Yeah, they will not, but they might notice, wow, look at those pretty crystals. I've usually got on some sort of crystal jewelry, and I'll tell you, that's a dead giveaway. That's how we know each other.
They look over and say, that person is a very sharp dresser. It must be a witch.
I don't know what to say.
It's the crystal.
She is always a good sport.
She is. So what is coming up for you? Obviously, you said it's an important time of year. What are you going to be doing over the next month? And are there peaks and valleys, highs and lows? What are you going to be doing to celebrate your witchiness?
So probably lots of...
Is witchiness a word?
It is now. I'm just like Shakespeare. Just made that up.
It is now.
Witchdom.
For me, it's a matter of like deliberately enjoying October and enjoying the fall because we get so busy. But for me, it's a lot of outdoor activities. I really love to be out and kind of be under the full moon this time of year. It seems more important in October, but mainly just, cooking all the fall foods and doing all the fall things. That seems like it falls right into the witchiness.
So now if you and your engineer husband want to have us over for some sort of a fall party, I'll bring the beer. I assume witch's great beer.
You know this witch well enough to know that that's yes.
I love it. Well,
and I'll make the chili with some magic in it.
Well, thank you, Witch Tabitha. Thank you very much for joining us on the Hammer and Nigel show. This has been fantastic.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
You are quite welcome. Jim, there you go. I told you would enjoy this segment.
Happy days.
You are listening to 30-year state senator Jim Merritt. I am Brad Klopfenstein. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel show.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, Dad?
Yeah, bud?
I'm too afraid to tell him what I saw, what I sent, what I downloaded.
You can't help what you don't know. Tell the teens in your life they can talk to you about what's happening online.
Hey, you can tell me anything, right?
Yeah, I know. We need to talk.
Learn more about online safety at InternetCrimesAgainstKids.com. A message from the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, sponsored by the Indiana State Police.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Coming up in 2 minutes, jury selection in the Delphi murders case is ahead of schedule. You've got the latest numbers coming up. John Herrick takes a special look at how bullies can affect children with autism and a look at this week's forecast. Those stories and more next, coming from the Technology Recycler Studios at the top of the hour. I'm Tony Burgess. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's now 5 o'clock, Fox News Radio.
Just 22 days left on Lisa Brady, Fox News, and the sprint to Election Day as both campaigns making return trips to key battlegrounds. Vice President Harris and former President Trump will both be in Pennsylvania this evening, while Trump running mate J.D. Vance visits Minnesota, where Harris running mate Tim Walz is the governor.
Senator Vance stood with a group of retired officers outside a precinct building burned out in the rioting that followed George Floyd's murder. Vance said Governor Walz allowed it.
He abandoned these officers at their moment of most critical need.
That, Vance says, is reason enough to reject the Democratic ticket led by Vice President Kamala Harris. But he admits it will be close.
Yes, it is tight, but right now I think Donald Trump would win.
National surveys still have the race nearly neck and neck 3 weeks before Election Day.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Governor Walz did impose a citywide curfew and deploy the National Guard during those riots, but has faced criticism for not acting sooner. Vice President Harris agrees to a Fox News interview. She'll sit down with Bret Baier on Wednesday, and it will air that evening during Special Report at 6 p.m. on Fox News Channel. Threats against FEMA workers may have slowed the response to Hurricane Helene.
Rutherford County Sheriff's deputies arrested 44-year-old William Parsons for a vague threat he made, saying he was going to mess up some FEMA personnel while he was armed. Members of the Army called the sheriff after hearing about this threat from a gas station attendant. Parsons has since posted bail.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. There were also reports of militia members hunting FEMA. That was later discounted, but FEMA tells the Associated Press some workers were pulled back from going door to door. California health officials investigating 5 more possible human cases of bird flu among dairy farm workers. This after 6 confirmed cases in the state among workers exposed to infected dairy cows. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're closing in on the finish line. You've got 58 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 5:02. 14 jurors have been seated for the Delphi murders trial so far. Some of those are alternate picks, and the rest of the alternate picks still need to be finalized, and everyone needs to actually make it to the swearing-in process. The selection process is far ahead of the 3-day schedule originally planned. Opening statements are supposed to take place this Friday in Delphi. October is Bullying Prevention Month. John Herrick reports on how bullies can affect children with autism.
And now, a WIBC News Spotlight.
Dr. Breanne Hartley with Unify Autism Care in Indianapolis says bullies go after people who are often different than them. She says autistic children are a target for bullies because of that very reason.
They present a little bit differently, may engage in some behaviors that are a little bit odd looking at times, maybe flap their hands or rock, engage in those kind of repetitive behaviors.
She says while bullies think they're being funny, they're actually showing their lack of knowledge on the subject.
A person who is engaging in bullying is doing that because they don't understand what the differences are that they're seeing in the children that they're targeting.
On Tuesday, you'll hear more about a process known as stimming and how that affects an autistic child's behavior. With your WIBC News Spotlight, I'm John Herrick.
Former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll has been sentenced to 15 years in prison and owes millions of dollars in restitution as part of a plea deal accepted by a judge Monday. Knoll was convicted on several financial fraud charges dating back to his time as sheriff. Starting Tuesday night, you might see significant frost on a lawn near you, but it won't stick around long.
Thursday morning and Friday mornings, as lows on those mornings will probably be right around 40, and that will probably prevent the frost formation at that time.
Temperatures are back in the 70s by the end of the week, says forecaster Jason Puma. Indiana gas up 12 cents from last week, says AAA. Today's average is $3.22 a gallon. WIBC News Time, 5:04. Traffic and weather up next.
Lynn just hates painting in the fall, so she called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time we had the roof done as well.
Formulated for our specific climate here in Indy and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty.
We truly believe in this product.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers. Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Donnie, it's 21 minutes on southbound 69. If you're exiting to 465, okay, we are backed up to 106th Street in that exit part. Southbound 69. Looking at a crash, this is Fall Creek Parkway at Brokenhurst Road. And on the west side, crash cleanup continues northbound 465 at West 21st Street. Delaware County, southbound 69 is closed at State Road 67 because of a semi-trailer and cab overturned in the median. It's on its side and traffic is stopped for about 4.5 miles. Northbound lanes also stopped at State Road 9, State Road 109 for several miles from the crash site. Traffic sponsored by Honda of Fishers. Fall brings falling leaves and falling prices. Visit Honda of Fishers now for great deals on new and used Hondas. Visit them in person or online at hondaoffishers.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast brought to you by the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Well, enough spotty showers are possible for us tonight with lows down in the low 40s. Then another chilly fall day is ahead for Tuesday with highs only in the mid-50s with a breeze out of the north. There is also going to be a chance for on-off spotty showers as well. I'm Wish TV Storm Track Game meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show up next. I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
Happy Columbus Day, Indianapolis.
Yes.
Jim, I did that for you.
Thank you very much. Coming from Monument Circle.
Yeah, exactly. That voice you just heard, that is Jim Merritt. He was in the state senate for 30 years, if you can believe that, because he only looks like he's 35. I am Brad Klopfenstein. Together, we are part of we are the Merritt in the Morning podcast.
The cast of the podcast.
Yeah, look for us on Facebook and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim is on. You're on fairly regular, weekly, I guess, with Rob Kendall.
I am on Wednesday mornings.
Yep, Wednesday mornings. I'm on sporadically, whatever they want me to fill in or need interesting things to talk about regarding booze and gaming.
Well, we also have a podcast with Abdul and Rob and myself called State House Happenings.
That's right. And then me and you oftentimes do Indiana issues.
We do.
With Abdul.
Yes.
So
we're just podcast maniacs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't, we haven't even scratched the surface of my work with the Greater Lawrence Chamber of Commerce. And
hey, tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
You're having a luncheon.
We are having luncheon. So,
and it's something I care about.
Yes. So we are every month we do a Chew on This luncheon sponsored by the Brain
That's
Center.
really a great name for a lunch. Chew on This.
Jody Petty, who works with me, came up with Chew on This, I believe.
Well, you always have great speakers.
We do. So it's
you had Rob Kendall once.
What's that?
You had Rob Kendall once.
I had you one time.
Yeah. You were really dragging the
we had Casey.
Dragging the lake.
We had Casey on, Abdul. We mostly just go with the people I know.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, we're doing our monthly lunch. It's at the Garrison out at Fort Harrison. And this month we are going to be talking to mental health professionals.
Yes.
Obviously this time of year.
But it's not the Garrison.
What's that?
It's not at the Garrison.
It's not, no.
It's at the hotel.
No, actually, we're back at the Garrison. So the Garrison is finally done.
Oh, good.
So we're going to
renovated.
We're like one of the first groups they're having back in there.
Excellent.
So yeah, newly renovated Garrison. I've seen preview pictures. It looks nice.
Good.
So this time of year, the days get shorter. It's a little darker outside. The holidays are coming up. People get stressed about money, and I think it's easier to get down. So we're going to be talking about mental health.
Yes, Kimball's an icon.
Yes, yes. So we've got
Community Health Network.
Dr. April Crowell and Kimball Richardson are going to be our speakers, and they're just going to be talking about how you can help keep your mental health stable, and then also give you some pointers on what to look for with other people and make sure that the people who are around you are also doing well.
Well, last time you had the director of the Department of Natural Resource, Dan Bortner.
Yeah, we had Dan Bortner in there.
And it was terrific just learning about all the different parks, and the legislature and Governor Holcomb have invested a lot in those parks, and he's done a really good job as executive director.
So it's funny. The one before that, we had Indiana's public access counselor.
Yes, and I created the law.
Yes.
I wrote the bill.
Senate Bill 1. You did? Thank you for doing that. So,
I believe it.
He spoke about what people could expect from their elected officials, because if you go out to the northeast side of town, they seem to kind of ignore that sometimes.
Well, the public access counselor plays an enormous role in what the government can do and what they can't do in regards to documentation.
Correct.
And I've always stood behind that piece of legislation, and it was difficult getting through, but I think it's a fair office, and plays a large role in representing the people as well as the government.
Yes. So thank you very much for putting that law together. So Jim, I wanted to talk to you this segment about gambling.
Yes.
So most of Indiana's gambling laws took effect during your tenure in the State House. I think
very early too.
Yeah. Yes. When you started, I think the lottery. Well, I brought this up because the lottery is celebrating their 35th anniversary this week of their creation. Did we have horse racing yet?
That was voted on referendum. That came in, I believe, 1989, 1990, and I was elected in 1990.
Okay.
And we had electricity then.
You still had to use the outhouse, and there were stables in the basement of the State House.
Seems like so long ago.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about holistically where Indiana is when it comes to gaming, and where do you think we should be?
Well, back in, I think it was 1993, that we had the legislation that allowed 9 riverboats, 9 gambling locations, and it's turned out to be very, very good legislation, good law. The state of Indiana has benefited so much from the desserts, from the revenue that's come from these spots. They're under a lot of pressure these days because of neighboring states have come along, and for instance, Lawrenceburg is a terrific organization, but they get a lot of pressure because Cincinnati has a gambling opportunity there.
Right. So at the time, when that was legalized, Indiana, I think, became the number 2 or number 3 casino gaming state in the country. Obviously behind Nevada, and we might have even passed New Jersey. But since then, some of the states around us, Ohio, Illinois, have legalized casino gaming.
Yes, and over in Paris, Illinois, I think there's a gaming opportunity there. We'll have one in Terre Haute very soon, if not.
Actually, it opened.
It opened. So
I
we
know
do
Hammer's
have one.
been there.
Yes, and so gaming is something that is, if it's well regulated and well run, it can be a terrific asset to a state, and it has been for the state of Indiana.
So now, if you were to redo the casinos and horse track bills, would you have continued to have restricted it? Would you have made them float? Or would you have said, instead of just having 10 licenses and suddenly enriching the owner of those licenses, would you just said, all right, there's going to be a fee and we can have as many casino licenses as the market can handle?
When this all started way back when, we made the decision, the legislature made the decision that there would be riverboats. It could be on land, but they had to have a body of water around it, like French Lick. And it had to have a full crew, and it had to be a mobile type of operation. And to go back in time, I believe that was the wrong thing to do. Having 9 licenses, I would have, if I could go back in time, I would have made it very competitive. I would have let the market plan execute the plan, and it'd be governmental. But I think we would, if we could have done 4, if we could have done 12, I would let the market decide.
So when you did 9, that did not include French Lick, right?
No.
So I think the presumption was that it would be a 10th on down the road. Now it's going to be French Lick.
Yes, and I'm glad that they've done an outstanding job down French Lick, and it's a beautiful facility. You saw it, and you've seen it many times, and it's something Indiana ought to be very proud of, and as well as the fact that we've moved licenses. The Terre Haute didn't originate in Terre Haute, and so it's been beneficial for the state of Indiana for a lot of reasons, including the jobs, including the economic development in regards to people moving here, and the blue chip up in Michigan City has done very well. And so, when I started, I'm a conservative person, and gaming is something that I don't do. We've talked before.
Right.
I've never been to Las Vegas, and so it's something that I don't do. So I had to learn a lot when I entered the legislature to really understand what gaming was and what it isn't, all the way through table games and the push tabs, and there are so many different levels and variations of gaming, and something I had to learn a lot about.
Yeah. I want to explore this a little further. Right now, though, we need to check in with Matt Baer, who has a look at the roads.
Southbound 65 stop and go traffic from 29th to Meridian Penn. At inbound 69, man, it is stopped after 106th Street down to the 465 ramps. It's stopped in the exit lanes to 465. Okay, they have road work going on that ramp right now, so we're jammed back to 106, 20 minutes on the wait. Eastbound 70 slows Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. Crash cleanup on the west side. Northbound 465 at West 21st Street, right lane block slow to Rockville. And then we have a crash enclosure up in Delaware County. Southbound 69 completely shut down after State Road 67 because of a rolled semi. Traffic stopped for miles. Same thing with the northbound lanes. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock appliance options, fast delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
55 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. It's 93 WIBC.
Cardiac issues are the leading cause of death in the United States. If you'd like to learn more about a heart health program that goes beyond just drugs or surgery, then join us for our free Holistic Integration Open House event on Wednesday, October 23rd at 6 p.m. You'll hear from Dr. Robert Prather, host of the Voice of Health Radio. You'll learn about our holistic heart program that is designed to give you safe, non-invasive, and medically sound cardiac care. We offer an individually tailored program that is more than just stents or statins. Healthy refreshments will be provided, and those who attend will receive a 20% discount on our autonomic nervous system test that measures your heart function, nervous system, and circulatory system. That's the Holistic Integration free open house event featuring Dr. Robert Prather, Wednesday, October 23rd at 6 p.m. Learn more or RSVP by calling 317-848-8048. That's 317-848-8048. Or on our website at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
Make your game day experience the best it can be. The Colts VIP Tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration, exclusively from BullseyeEventGroup.com. The party is on for every Colts home game with an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink VIP experience and DJ Skids providing the entertainment. Live large and pregame like a pro. If you need tickets to the game, Bullseye Event Group can help you in that department too. Make sure you're part of the party before the next Colts home game. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com. That's BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
It's time to shift seasons in style at Macy's Fab Fall Sale. Save on all the things you can't wait to wear, like shoe and boot specials 30 to 40% off, and coats for your crew 30 to 60% off. Plus, elevate your tabletop with hosting essentials from Gottinger, The Cellar, Thirsty Stone, and more 50% off. Even better, take an extra 20% off with your coupon or Macy's card. Going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Nigel today, Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt.
Adequately?
Adequately, yeah, exactly. I'll take adequate.
I'd take adequate.
I was a C student in college. I'll be a C student here on the air.
I think Dr. McCormick had better grades than you did.
Well, she does have doctor before her name.
That's
so
true.
I'm going to extrapolate that out and say probably. So we are enjoying sitting in. Hammer or Nigel or both will be back tomorrow.
Thank goodness, huh?
I don't really know exactly who's going to be here.
Yeah.
I did hear it's going to be Hammer and the Gun Guy.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's why there's no Monday Gun Day. Mm-hmm. It's because he's going to be in here for the
Did you see me try to talk about guns?
Yeah. No, I own a couple guns, but I fire them about once every 5 years.
Is it a Glock?
No, I don't even have it. I just have long guns. So, okay. Yeah,
you didn't get the joke.
No. No, I didn't. Sorry, Jim.
Vice President Harris. Seemingly owns a Glock.
She does. Well, and
And
I know.
Walls can't load a rifle.
Well, over your shoulder, there's a TV, and I've been seeing that, Tim Waltz is struggling mightily to go hunting and load his own rifle or load his own shotgun. So, yes. So, Jim, I wanted to finish our thoughts on gaming.
Right.
We're talking about that. We're talking about casino gaming. Also want to talk about now, so it was horse tracks, lottery, casinos. Then we went to sports gaming. There was also pull tabs.
Efforts for pull tabs.
Pull tabs that were originally for service clubs, not for profits. Then we went to bars. I know the bars now are pushing to get video gaming terminals, basically slot machines like they have in Illinois here.
Yeah.
Do bars deserve a bite of the apple?
You know, I used to be a little different on this, but I've come a long ways. You know, whatever the market will bear, and gaming is a gaming, and I think they set up the gaming very well in this state, especially when you talk about sports gaming. If you participate on your phone, you have to be living in the state of Indiana
and physically present.
Exactly, and I think that's good. I think that's using technology, and I think about any gaming that we have going on, it's like being a little bit pregnant. I think that once you have it, and Indiana's an incremental state. At some point, we're going to get into the medical marijuana, and then we're going to get into the complete weed marijuana industry. And so hopefully we do it right. And gaming, I do believe legislature's handled correctly.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know, like, for bars, their argument is, it's like, yeah, our customers can come in. We've got sports on television. They can bet on those sports at our bar stool, sitting in our bar on their phone.
Yeah, and they're over 21. You
Right.
know, it's just it makes a lot of sense for them to be able to compete. I think they get a little revenue from it.
They do.
And good for them, good on them. And so I think it's time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my thought has always been, adults, if you want to gamble, that's kind of a tax on people that aren't good at math.
Yeah.
But,
well, table games, I think that's good. I mean, it's worth it. And I've really changed my mind on this because I was all about, corralling this to the 9 spots, the 10 spots, and that's it. And
they were on the borders.
Yes.
So it's like, no, that'll be other people that'll be
other
gambling.
people's money. Yeah.
Never mind that people from Indianapolis flock to those things.
Yeah. I thought it would be an interesting part when we'd have these Super Bowls, host a Super Bowl here, that we would have a mini casino just for the journalists that come into the state.
I like the idea of just a traveling license. I mean, just like a festival license.
Yeah, a mobile.
Yeah, exactly.
A portable license.
I like this, Jim.
Yeah.
We're on to something. Why aren't we in charge?
Well, there's a good reason.
No, there's not. There's no good reason. This state would be better off if you and I were at the top of the ticket.
They would be happy.
Yeah,
and they would be nice.
They would be. So now, Jim, there's something else I want to talk to you about. We were texting about this over the weekend, ironically. How many texts a day, spam texts, do you get from Republicans wanting you to donate money or?
At least 20 a day. At least 1 an hour. Now, maybe 2 an hour.
I will say, I have twice given money to Republican candidates who were running for Congress. One was just this year. A friend of ours was running up in the 3rd district, and I wanted to support him a little bit. And then another was a guy that I supported about 10 years ago. I now get almost as many text messages as you do a day, and every one of them comes from a different number, and every one of them says, reply stop to opt out. And it doesn't matter how many of them I say stop to, I still get a dozen a day.
And Mario Masalami was talking about this earlier. I just got one. We are conducting what has been historically the most accurate presidential poll. We need your response ASAP. Yeah. And then I get another one. They're apologizing here. We're sorry. We keep asking. Well, if you're sorry you're asking, don't ask.
Yeah.
But can you please chip in $1 to support Ted Cruz for re-election? He won't win unless we can invest and report junk.
Since this show started, I have received 3.
Gee whiz.
2 of them were, for Ted Cruz. One of them says it's CIA Director Mike Pompeo. And I don't
if you send Cruz $1,
no,
you're going to get about 25 of them after that.
I will tell you, especially as many times as I've said stop to as many different numbers, I should have long time ago been taken off those lists. It makes me not want to vote for a Republican ever again the rest of my life.
So you don't think Democrats do it too?
They might. I know for a fact I don't get them from Libertarians, which is where I put most of my money. So, I take that back. If I get one from a Libertarian, it comes from an actual person that I can respond back to. These are all bots that are going out. But I will tell you, Mario or anybody else who's listening that has anything to do with these, if you send me spam text messages like this, I will not vote for you or your candidate.
It's usually a national committee, or it's usually a national concern. Mario, the Hamilton County Republican Party would do it, it would be encouraging to vote absentee or in person, because all Republicans seem to think that they should vote on Election Day, whereas now we ought to be spending our time voting during the month of October.
Yes. I just know that it's an annoyance.
Yes.
And I don't get it. I don't think it helps. And now almost every phone has a spam folder, and they almost all go in there anyhow.
Yeah.
And so I don't know exactly what the value is.
Yeah, I don't mind going to spam. They go right on my text screen, and it's a harassment. And I just kind of wonder if people actually respond to them and send Ted Cruz $1.
I doubt it. So, all right, if you are in charge or you're one of these people, know that I hate you, and I hope that the witch that we had on earlier takes care of you and turns you into a toad.
Well, her wand is for positive. I think. Is her wand for negative?
She said it focuses energy.
Okay.
And I think
okay.
I think
so
Tabitha normally uses it for positive, but if I got a hold of it, I'm using it for negative. All right. With that, let's check in with Donnie Burgess over to Newsroom.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Well, it's on today, too. Mostly cloudy, 57 degrees. I'm Donnie Burgess. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Jury selection in the Delphi murders case has wrapped up for today. 12 jurors and 2 alternate picks were seated, and another 2 alternates will be selected Tuesday. Everyone still needs to make it to the swearing-in process. Opening statements expected Friday. Americans are being warned to leave Beirut and Lebanon as Israel continues to clash with Hezbollah and Hamas.
After Israel claimed it was striking a Hamas location in a Gaza hospital, a next-door shelter was set ablaze, leaving 4 dead and 40 injured. As more details of a Hezbollah attack on an Israeli military base are revealed. 4 soldiers were killed, all 19 years old. Dozens were injured, some seriously. Casualties were medevaced out after a drone packed with explosives flying low from Lebanon penetrated the camp undetected. In Haifa, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Over 1 million people still without power in western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene, and cleanup continues in Florida after Hurricane Milton. President Biden has promised over $600 million to help restore the electric grid in those affected areas. Indiana Task Force 1 is coming home. John Herrick reports.
They're one of 28 highly trained Department of Homeland Security and FEMA-sponsored urban search and rescue teams in the United States. They spent the last few weeks in Florida and North Carolina helping with cleanup and recovery from damage caused by Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. They're expected to arrive back in the Hoosier State sometime on Tuesday. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Here's what you can expect from the weather this week.
We are not seeing any significant chances for rain in the next 7 days, so essentially dry but cooler weather.
Cool enough to leave some frost on your lawn, says forecaster Jason Puma with the National Weather Service. And with a look at the roads, what's going on, Matt Baer?
Yeah, Donnie, I'm watching southbound 69 from 106th Street to 465. It's stopped right now. I mean, we're moving, but barely. It's about 21 minutes to go from southbound 69 to 465. That exit is backed up. Looking at I-69 up in Delaware County, inbound 69 southbound right now is shut down because of an overturned semi, trailer, and cab. This is going to be south of State Road 67, the Daleville exit, okay? So we're stopped for several miles from that exit. Northbound lane stopped as well from State Road 9 Pendleton. Also looking at the west side, crash northbound 465 at West 21st Street. That right lane still blocked, no delay. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product. Discover more at royalspa.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And now the forecast brought to you by the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
There's a chance for runoff spotty showers tonight with lows down in the low 40s. Another chilly fall day is ahead for Tuesday with highs in the mid 50s with a breeze out of the north. Also a chance for spotty showers as well during the day. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Donnie Burgess on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel Show.
You are listening to Brad Klopfenstein, Jim Merritt. We are filling in for Hammer and Nigel. Hammer will be back tomorrow with Guy Relford, the gun guy. Jim, I want you to know when we are on, we are a tripartisan show. If
we
not
are.
more. We have had, so far, today we've had Democrat Dr. Jennifer McCormick, who's running for governor on. We've had Mario Masalamany, who's the Hamilton County GOP chair. Now joining us on the Merritt in the Morning hotline, Libertarian Andy Horning.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good,
well,
Andy.
thank you.
Great to hear from you. You are running for U.S. Senate, aren't you?
Yeah, dang on it. Not that anybody has heard about that race yet. It's almost this, is probably the most incredible U.S. Senate race in my lifetime, in that I don't know anybody who's talking about it, really, other than me.
I'm assuming that's because you have it in the bag.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? But, yeah. I also like big dreams, but, because I think it's because there's been no debate. This would be the first time I'd not even met one of the people running for an office that I'm running for. I've not seen him out on the trail. He's not going to be in the debate. And I think because of that, like closing down the options for discussion, people just we're not paying any attention to the Senate race. And it's extremely important because constitutionally that role was supposed to be the Senate was supposed to be the defense of the state against the federal government. And that really wasn't supposed to change with the 17th Amendment, but, it kind of did. And I think we need it more than ever to have somebody, sort of defend whatever sovereignty is left for both the state and the individual from that constitutional sense.
Hey, Andy, what is the best part of the campaign for you thus far?
Well, actually, I always enjoy meeting people. So when I do get a chance to talk to people, I love it. Mm-hmm. That part's fun. So I suppose it's been the energy for all the past 30 years that people tell me they like what I'm saying and that, they learn something by talking to me that they hadn't heard before. I enjoy that. So that's fun. I don't know that you should ask me about the rest of it, but I do enjoy that part.
So, Andy, you've run for office a number of times. In fact, you're probably the best-known libertarian that we have in Indiana.
Other than you.
Well, I'm not. Am I? I don't know. Regardless, we'll go with Andy. For the sake of argument here, we're going to go with Andy Horning. Andy's run for U.S. Senate before. I think that was a dozen years ago. You've run for governor. You've run for Congress 2 or 3 times. How has politics changed since you got involved?
Well, basically what I was just talking about. When I ran for mayor of Indianapolis in 1999, there were 5 candidates, 5 people. One of them was an independent. There was our party. There was a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. I don't remember but there were 5 candidates. And we had like 45 actual debates where almost all of the candidates showed up for each one of them. And at the same time, a lot of voters showed up. In the intervening years, I've been to a lot more public forums where there are a lot of candidates, but there are not a lot of voters. Or there'll be, a well-organized forum like the one that was down in New Harmony, Indiana, not too long ago. Very well organized, beautiful venue, several candidates, but almost nobody that wasn't associated with with a candidate or campaign. And I guess it's just the fact that people are tuning out, or I know some of it's out of disgust, some of it's out of helplessness, but I guess the engagement of the public it seems to be dropping like a stone. And candidates are getting more and more confident that their money can let them win, as opposed to, like in the 8th District, for instance. It's been many, many years since there's been a debate where the Republicans showed up. It just hasn't happened because they figured they're so secure in that position that they don't have to debate. So, Bouchon didn't ever debate anybody since 2016, I think.
Well, and, Andy, this is your opportunity to tell our listeners exactly who you are and what you represent and what issues you believe are important that are going to be decided in the coming years.
Good question. Yeah, I'm the only one who could really talk about corruption. The campaign, what I was just talking about, the money in politics is a huge contaminant. And I think everybody knows that when you get millions of dollars funneling into campaigns, a lot of those dollars come with strings. And we've heard, for 60 years, we've heard about the influence, like Eisenhower talked about the military-industrial complex and the scientific technological elite. I'm the only one really opposing that. I'm also the only one actually applying for the job that I'd mentioned before of defending the state against federal encroachment. That's a role that hasn't been done in well over 100 years. I'm certainly the only constitutionalist, if anybody cares about that still. And I would think that we need that more than ever, given how off the rails our government is in its spending and its budgetary requirements and the, oversight of certain agencies, finance, all of that stuff. Nobody's been doing the real job, and Congress has delegated away most of its responsibilities, even to the point of lawmaking. Most laws are now written by unelected bureaucrats and executive agencies, and not even written by legislators anymore. So, the legislature has made itself almost irrelevant at a time when, we really need people closer, and we need representatives closer to the people than just the president or just the bureaucracy. We need people that, whose names we know and who maybe they're in the same state we're in at least. And we just don't have that right now. What we have is an increasingly distant, increasingly aloof, increasingly bought off crony network that is horrifically, a lot of people know that it's irretrievably corrupt, and we have to do something about it because we're on the heels of World War III and financial collapse. And I'd like to have a nice way to say that, but we really are in a very serious time of the pivotal time in terms of who we're going to be as a nation and what direction we're going to go, whether we're going to keep on having undeclared wars as BRICS is becoming a bigger and bigger bloc to counter the threat of the United States and its monetary monopoly, essentially, on global markets. So, we're losing our empire and we're losing our standard of living, and we keep voting the same way, and I'm the only one running for Senate that has any alternative to that, and I've written it all down in a book. It's called Relighting the Torch. It's available on Amazon. I've got my plans written all over the place. In fact, if you go to horningforsenate.com, you'll see I've written more than any candidate probably should about what I'm all about, what my plans are. I've got all my press releases linked there, and I've got dozens and dozens of press releases.
We're talking to Andy Horning, Libertarian candidate for U.S. Senate. Andy, in the last minute that we have, why should people vote for you?
Well, you've already got what we've been voting for. So if you want anything different, I'm in. People use that term duopoly in a sense that I think people are starting to understand that we don't really even have a two-party system. We've got one big crony network where a lot of people will donate money to both parties because they don't care who wins. They just want to know whoever wins will pick up the phone when they call. And I'm running in opposition to that, and I think we desperately need that. And, I'm basically the only alternative to what we've already got from both parties.
Again, Andy, how can people get in touch with you?
Horningforsenate.com, FOR, not the number 4. Horningforsenate.com. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find even if you do a Google search on me.
Well, Andy Horning, thank you very much for joining us on the Hammer and Nigel Show. We appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
All right, you too. You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show with Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new Office of Environmental Justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Fall brings falling leaves and falling prices. Visit Honda Fishers now for great deals on new and used Hondas. Visit them in person or online at HondaFishers.com.
Don't want the worry of maintaining your furnace or air conditioner? Join B&W's Premier Club today. Visit B+W.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIPC.com.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Southbound 69 exiting 2465. That exit is backed up from 465 to 106th Street. Delay time is at 18 minutes if you're trying to peel off from 69 to 465 right now. Eastbound 465 slows Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road. Inbound 65 stop and go 21st to Meridian Penn. And the rolled semi-trailer in Delaware County has cleared that southbound 69 a couple miles after State Road 67. Traffic is still stopped for a few miles, but the front of the line is clearing out. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
55 degrees at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt sitting in for Hammer Nigel. Jim, do you know how this works?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to read you a little story, and then we're going to discuss, and you're going to decide, is this anything?
Fire.
So we're going to do a deep dive on this one. Jim, the 7-Eleven Corporation has announced it's closing 450 underperforming stores, citing declining cigarette sales as the main reason.
Well, 7-Eleven, as I recall, doesn't sell gasoline. Maybe some do, but most of their profit probably is definitely cigarette tax and cigarette sales.
Well, actually, so let me preface that. Just sometime in the last 3 or 4 years, 7-Eleven, which is a Japanese company, bought all the Speedway gas stations from Marathon. So 7-Eleven is bigger than just 7-Eleven. They own Speedway. A lot of the 7-Eleven stores do sell gasoline. Obviously, cigarette sales they're claiming is a big reason, declining cigarette sales. And then the owner of Circle K, which is a Canadian company, has a bid in to buy the 7-Eleven Corporation from the Japanese owners.
Well, he wants to get it cheap, more than likely, inexpensive. But kind of, we were talking about gaming just a while ago.
Yeah.
And you walk into a casino in Indiana, they do have smoking rooms. And it's kind of a stunner. We grew up with people smoking on airplanes. That my children have never experienced that. And so I think less and less people are probably smoking cigarettes, although there are different spots that I see that kids in their 20s are picking it up again. I mean, you see there's a professional women's golfer who smokes a cigarette on the golf course. And so there are anomalies out there. But, yeah, I think it is. I think you're seeing more of a move towards gummies and different ways of activity that don't include smoking because of the possibility of having lung cancer and the other health ailments.
So let's explore this a little bit more. I know we were originally talking about 7-Eleven closing stores, but you bring up an interesting point. I mean, obviously, 20 years ago, smoking bans were all the rage. Now, all of a sudden, it's a move to legalize cannabis, marijuana. Where does that fall into the whole realm of smoking?
Well, I think first of all, you have gummies, but there are different efforts in different states that allow for a joint to be lit. And you kind of wonder if in Denver, Colorado, if they have smoking rooms for pot smoking. You just don't know. But it's an interesting question of when you have marijuana legalized, is no smoking, or do they have areas for people to light up?
Right. And will the pendulum swing back, do you think, in the next 10 years where there's going to be a movement against cannabis and marijuana, or at least smoking a joint?
Yeah, I think it all depends on...
By the way, we sound very stiff. Right?
Yeah, well, anybody that's listening to this that knows me, I am a stiff. But it's kind of interesting you say that, because places like Alaska, our friend Blair Engelhardt reports that they really know how to document where the marijuana is harvested, what kind of marijuana it is, and there are other states that know how to regulate cannabis and the sale of, and it's going to be a good thing if Indiana ever gets there, that if we do take a measured approach and we know what people are smoking, what's in it.
Now, my thought is, just because it's legal doesn't mean that you're still not a dumb stoner.
Well, that's true.
Alcohol. We have friends that do gummies or smoke marijuana, and A, that seems to be all they ever want to talk about, and B, I can tell. Yes. They will say, "Oh, you can't tell when I'm stoned."
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we can all tell.
Yes,
we can all tell.
Yes, and alcohol is legal. Yes. And it should be treated the same way as alcohol.
I don't know about you, but alcohol makes me smart and handsome.
No comment. First time I've said that all 3 days.
I know.
But Indiana be very wise to understand and have a dedicated plan, step-by-step plan on how we're going to legalize and regulate cannabis. We're going to be all better for it.
So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're already behind, but, what are you going to do about it? So,
all the states around us have legalized it.
So,
and I think states are struggling with it now.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show with your hosts, Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask